Meant to be on this one. I'm meant to have my mic muted, but now it's not muted. And now it changes. Hooray! Select stream, refresh. Okay, cool. And now my cat's coming in. Oh, she has a ball. My cat has a ball. I have to give her a treat. Come here, booby. You want a treat? Oh, well, good girl. Jump up. Can you jump up? Not gonna jump up? Okay. Come here, baby. There you go. There's your treat. Oh, and dropped it. Just send a text real quick. Doot, doot. So this is Starsector. I did play a little bit of the tutorial. Continue, tutorials, missions, new game, codex. Yeah, I did play the basic combat tutorial. I'm kind of curious about the advanced combat tutorial. Let's see what that's about. Welcome to the advanced combat tutorial. Let's get started. Your flagship is still the same Hammerhead, but the point defense lasers have been swapped out for ion cannons. More on those later. We've already gone over the basics of using weapons in the previous tutorial. Now let's take a look at picking the right weapon for the job. Each weapon deals damage of a particular damage type. Kinetic damage deals 200% to shields, but only 50% to armor. Since the enemy ship has its shields up, let's start off by firing some Sabot missiles at it. They are extremely effective at bringing down shields. Fire enough Sabots at the enemy ship to overload its shields. Okay, so that's weapon group 2. Great work. With the shields down and an overload in progress, the enemy ship is vulnerable. The next step is to bring down its armor. High explosive deals 200% to armor, but only 50% to shields. Switch to your assault chain guns and punch through the armor to break through faster. Focus your fire on one spot. Okay, that's fire group 1. Okay, we want to focus on the one spot at the front. Excellent. The enemy ship is now taking hull damage. Now let's finish it off. Use the accelerated ammo feeder to deal damage faster. Press F to activate it and fire away. If your flux maxes out from firing, just wait a bit so it can dissipate. I do like the, Be careful, when a ship is disabled, the explosion deals damage to all nearby ships except for fighters. Make sure you're far enough away to avoid damage. About a ship's length should be enough. Oh, wow. That was a big explosion. Good work. There are 2 damage types we haven't looked at yet. Fragmentation damage deals only 25% to armor and shields, but usually costs little flux and has a high base DPS value, making it effective versus exposed hull or lightly armored, unshielded targets like missiles and fighters. Energy damage deals 100% of its listed damage to everything. Some weapons also deal EMP damage in addition to their normal damage type. EMP does not affect shields, armor, or hull, but it can quickly disable enemy weapons and engines. Your ion cannons deal lots of EMP damage and little else. Switch to the ion cannons and disable some of the weapons on the Enforcer. Wonder what the little arcs are. Okay, it's taking a minute to... Oh, there we go. Arbalist autocannon disabled. The ship is now sitting duck and won't be able to maneuver at all until its engines are back online. Non-EMP weapons can also disable engines and weapons, but EMP weapons bypass armor and get the job done faster. Let's take another look at shields. Turn on your shields and sit tight for a moment. You'll be attacked by beam weapons. Okay, right-click to get the shields going. As you can see, your ship is not building up flux despite the shields being under fire. This is because beam weapons generate soft flux when hitting shields. This may make them seem weak, but remember that this flux still needs to be dissipated, leaving that much less flux dissipation to power weapons. Beam weapons are also very efficient and need little flux to fire. Ships receive an engine boost, a bonus to top speed and maneuverability when their flux level and flux generation are at 0. Turning shields on, even without taking any damage, is enough to cancel this bonus. Travel through the nebula in front of your ship, noting how your ship moves faster when the shields are down. Okay, yeah, so... Oh, and it even says it right there. 0 flux engine boost, plus 50 top speed. This engine boost is particularly important for larger ships which have much lower top speed without it. To maintain the engine boost for a ship with auto-firing weapons, you can press X to hold fire. For a ship with... Okay, so to stop firing. Because if we started firing, we're generating flux and therefore no engine boost. Carriers also need to press Z to pull back their fighters. Congratulations, you complete the advanced combat tutorial. It's probably a good idea to complete the fleet command tutorial next. Okay. Is it gonna send me back to the... There we go. Alright, fleet command. Welcome to Starsector fleet command tutorial. Let's get started. At the start of a battle, you have to decide what ships to deploy. Recovering after a deployment costs supplies, so you usually don't want to just deploy everything. If you only have one ship, it's deployed automatically. To deploy ships, press the reinforcements button in the upper right. Since this is the tutorial and the supply costs aren't an issue, let's deploy everything. Oh, I need to select them. Okay. Good, now let's create some assignments for our ships to carry out. The first thing we want to do is capture some objectives, locations especially suited for the deployment of nav buoys, sensor arrays, or comm relays. The bonuses these provide are modest, but they add up, especially given that if you don't hold them, the enemy will. Left-click on the nav buoy and select Capture from the list of available assignments. You can also use the keyboard shortcut displayed on the button. Okay. A nearby frigate is automatically assigned to the task, and that's what the arrow on the map indicates. To pan the view around, right-click and drag, or move the mouse to the edge of the screen. You can toggle the command UI on and off by pressing tab, but don't do this yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, don't do that. It's not letting me do it by moving into the edge of the screen, though. Creating an assignment costs a command point, but also opens the command channel. While it's open, giving orders is free. You can also manually assign a ship to perform a task. Select one of the other frigates. Okay. And right-click the command relay. An assignment appropriate to your selection and what you right-clicked on was created, in this case another capture. You can also assign specific ships to existing assignments by selecting them and right-clicking on the assignment. Okay. Also assign specific. Where do you guys see... Now that the orders are locked in, let's unpause, press space, and wait for your ships to secure the objectives. You can keep an eye on what each ship is doing by clicking on it and selecting Show Video Feed. Okay, which one is Show Video Feed? Show a live video feed from the selected ship. Press and hold Q for a quick video feed that lasts for as long as the key is pressed. Okay, so... You can exit the feed at any time by pressing Escape. Okay. You can also exit the feed by pressing F, which is the feed button. Pressing and holding Q will show a quick video feed that only lasts for as long as the key is held down. Press tab to reopen the command UI if necessary, and don't forget to unpause. Tutorial will resume once both objectives are captured. Okay, so let's see, we wanted to look at this guy. You can hold Q. And he's capturing that buoy. He's or that comm relay. Okay, now they're all heading forward. Enemy ships in sight. Let's give a couple orders to make the battle go smoothly for your side. The enemy cruiser is tough, but relatively harmless. We'd like our ships to focus on the more dangerous enemy first. Select the cruiser, and select avoid from the list of available assignments. Good, now let's order your ships to focus on the enemy destroyer. It's the only target left, so they'll naturally do that anyway, but giving them an eliminate order will make them more aggressive. Select the destroyer, and select eliminate from the list of available commands. Good, some of the ships in your fleet will now engage the enemy destroyer, and the rest will try and hold the objectives, with all avoiding the enemy cruiser. You might have noticed that you're not directly controlling a ship at the moment. This can happen if you don't deploy your flagship or if your flagship is destroyed. Let's transfer command to the hammerhead so that you can pilot it yourself and play out the rest of the battle. Select the hammerhead and press transfer command button, then wait for a shuttle pod to take you to your new flagship. Congratulations, you've completed the fleet command tutorial. Feel free to experiment with other assignments to explore the technical options they offer and see if you can win this battle. Also press escape to leave the tutorial. Okay. So we've got these dudes up here. Is that the enemy destroyer? No, that's the enemy carrier. Which we've, oh yeah, you can see it all here, which you've set to avoid. So we can actually go after the enemy destroyer. If I was any good at staying pointed at my target. What is this, a railgun? Does it say? Oh yeah, kinetic. Trying to talk to me. Alright, dismiss. Did we get him? Alright, I guess we got that one, so we can just focus on this one. Give them the eliminate command. And tell someone to capture that. Oh yeah, he's toast. So, kinetic energy, high explosive. I think it was kinetic that did the most damage to shields. Oh, my hull's not doing so good. Should probably have my shields up, honestly. Taking some hard flux. Oh, I'm actually overloaded, okay. Is my flagship about to be destroyed? Oh, no, we got him. Nice, we got him. Okay, so that's the end of that tutorial. So, we can either do a mission or a new game. Not sure I want to play a mission. I want to do a new game. Initializing domain ident chip. Okay. Iron mode. In iron mode, you can't quit without saving or load a save while still in game. In other words, no do-overs. This is the setting the game is in, but since it's alpha right now, use at your own risk. Okay. When informational dialogues will be shown, warning, show appropriate times. Highly recommended for new players. Okay, now we can choose a funny little guy. Let's do... Wow, they actually have a lot of these. Let's do this funny little guy up here. Sector age. Different constellations may have different ages. Cooler stars, fewer planets, less minerals, more habitable worlds, more balanced mix of stars and planets. Hotter stars, more planets, more mineral resources, fewer habitable worlds. Sector size, smaller, around 50% fewer star systems compared to normal amount of star systems. Okay, we can generate a name. Let's do Basil. Basil, Sir. Okay, and then we do continue. Your most recent occupation was as a bounty hunter, a scavenger, an explorer, leading a salvage expedition from aboard an Eprogy-class cruiser. Faster start. A group of ships capable of performing salvage operations. Let's not do a faster start. A scavenger commanding a Wayfarer-class combat freighter. The Wayfarer is an ungainly vessel with an excellent capacity for carrying cargo, fuel, and crew. Its combat ability is limited, but not to be discounted. Designed to operate on the fringes of civilization, this freighter is quite capable of defending itself. Okay. Acquired a Wayfarer-class combat freighter. In addition, your fleet includes a Kite-class shuttle under the command of an experienced subordinate, a Shepherd-class drone tender with a cargo-heavy machinery. Okay, if I'm a scavenger, that's the cargo-heavy machinery sounds more scavengy. Shepherd is not a combat ship, being both slow and fragile, though its drones are capable of providing decent support to another ship. True value, however, lies in the generous cargo hold and numerous salvage and surveying-oriented hull features. Its cargo of heavy machinery is also useful in running salvage and surveying operations. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Select campaign difficulty. Easy is recommended for first-time players. Okay, we can do easy. Start with tutorial. Start with tutorial mission that introduces the high-level campaign mechanics and active abilities. Okay, start with tutorial. So there's an additional tutorial instead of just the one that we had going into doing the combat. Welcome to the Pearson sector. Your fleet is in the middle of nowhere and critically low on supplies. If you don't require more supplies, your fleet will suffer through a slow but ultimately fatal decline. Fortunately, there's a debris field nearby. Move up into it and activate your scavenge ability to search it for useful cargo. Scavenging requires heavy machinery, but there is some in your cargo hold. Gain ability scavenge. Make sure to take all the supplies and any other valuable cargo, but feel free to leave the cheap and bulky metals behind. To get your fleet moving, click on an empty space in the direction you want to move. Okay. Oh, okay, so this is like an overview. I can zoom out pretty far. We got money, supply use. This fleet is carrying 10 supplies and requires 0.27 supplies per day. Fuel capacity. The total fuel capacity of your fleet is 80. The fleet currently is carrying 40 fuel. Traveling in hyperspace requires 2 fuel per equivalent normal space light year at the maximum burn level of 9. This translates to 1.4 fuel every 0.9 light years per day. Burn level, maximum burn level plus 9 level shows ship. This burn level translates 0.9 light years per day while in hyperspace. Fleet-wide combat readiness. The average combat readiness of non-mothballed ships is 70%. Fleet-wide hull and armor status. The average hull and armor status. Fleet-wide repairs. All ships are fully repaired. Sensor profile. Sensor profile is added to another fleet sensor strength to determine the range at which your fleet can be detected. Sensor range. Sensor range is added to another entity's sensor profile to determine the range at which your fleet can be detected. Okay, move up into the debris field. Not gonna hit anything. And press 6 to begin scavenging. Scavenge. Pick through a debris field for anything of value. Your fleet is inside a debris field and can begin scavenging. Your fleet assumes a stable orbit relative to the debris field. The field appears stable and will not drift away anytime soon. Long-range scans indicate it's likely to contain something of value. There are indications that what salvage is to be had may not be easy to get to, and there's significant risk involved in running a salvage operation. Assess. Assess crew and machinery required available. Okay, so we don't have enough crew. 72%. Base effectiveness, heavy machinery, salvage, crew available, debris field density. The density of the debris field affects both the amount of resources and the number of rare items found. Begin salvage operation. Okay, so we found some stuff. Let's see here. What did we find? Metals, refined forms of both ferrous and common. 30. Seeing a remote price for various colonies requires being within range of a functional comm relay. Supplies. Required by ships and crew ranging from rations and uniforms to munitions, spare parts, microfab feedstock, and prefab components. Fuel. Standard starship fuel. Okay. And heavy machinery, various standardized modules for manipulating matter at an industrial scale. And how can I tell if I can fit the metal? I saw something change down there. Here we go. Cargo capacity. The total capacity of your fleet is 250. Your fleet's cargo is using 156 of this capacity. Personnel capacity. Fuel capacity. Number of crew in this fleet, and the number needed to meet the minimum requirements for all ships. Number of marines. Alright, confirm and continue. Press F5 to quick save. A pirate fleet is approaching. First, you'll spot it as a sensor contact, then as an unidentified fleet, and then when it gets very close, you'll see its true colors. Don't worry, the pirate ship is shoddy, rust bucket, and if you do lose, you can press F9 to quick load. Even so, combat can be expensive, especially if there's no bounty on the enemy you fight. Deploying ships into battle reduces their combat readiness. Recovering combat readiness consumes supplies. Battle damage can cost you more supplies to repair. Where fighting is often necessary to survive, wait for the pirate fleet to approach and defeat them. Okay, but it contains nothing of value. Alright, here's the pirates. The pirate ship maneuvers to prevent you from disengaging easily. It does not appear to be certain of your identity. Any hostilities will have to a reduced impact on your reputation. Open a comm link, move in to engage, attempt to disengage. Disengage by executing, no story points available. Don't you get any of your dirt on me when I blast your ship up. Cut the comm link. Attack the opposing fleet. Select the ship you will directly control in the upcoming engagement. My flagship. Yeah, that one. You can select which ships to deploy at the beginning of each battle and deploy reinforcements as the battle goes on. Deploying a ship reduces combat readiness by a fixed amount. In addition, okay, so they can't necessarily get my freighter. I would have to deploy it to make it vulnerable. In addition, ships will begin to gradually lose combat readiness after their peak readiness time runs out. Recovering combat readiness takes time and consumes valuable supplies. Okay, so we just want to deploy our Wayfarer. We do not want to deploy the Shepherd, the drone tender. Okay, so we got our tactical map here. And I don't see... I guess we don't know where these guys are at the moment. Oh, that's great. Okay, everything's set on auto fire. Looks like they're disabled, so I can turn my shields off. Oh, no, they're back up. Okay, so this is going pretty well. Enemy flees defeated plus escape, disabled, neutralized. Oh, don't destroy it. Wanna, you know, see what's in it. Continue. Your forces were able to gain a complete victory in the last engagement. Relationship with pirates reduced by 3. Sorry, you can hear me munching. Your fleet's supply consumption has just gone up. Recovering combat readiness used to deploy ships into battle cost supplies as does repairing battle damage. To reduce supply use, repairs and CR recovery on your ship can be suspended from the fleet screen. I want to repair my ships. Scuttle, mothball. Suspend repairs, refit. Okay. Repairs completed, gain experience. You have advanced level 2. You have 4 story points and 2 skill points. Press F5 to advance the tutorial. You've gained a level. You gain 1 skill point with each level up and an additional point at the start of the campaign. Okay, with each level up, an additional point at the start of the campaign. You also gain story points as you gain experience. These can be used to take exceptional actions to make your own story in a way. Tutorial will introduce using these a bit later. Skill points are used to learn skills. Skills are arranged in 4 aptitudes: combat, leadership, technology, and industry. Each aptitude has a number of tiers. You advance to the higher tiers by picking skills from the lower ones. Skills that affect your piloted ships, all combat skills, and a few skills in other aptitudes can be made elite at the cost of a story point. Maximum level you can reach is 15. Press C to open the character tab and consider your options. You don't have to actually spend the points now if you don't want to. Okay, so let's see what we have. Hellmanship. It sings when you push the mix just right, like humming. Everything is right. World. Affects the piloted ship. 50% maneuverability and top speed. Tactical drills. Affects all combat ships, including carriers and militarized civilian ships. Do I have to get the ones before to get the ones after? I guess not. Oh, yeah. For these ones in higher tiers, I do. Wow, there's actually a lot to choose from. Bulk transport affects all ships, plus 50% cargo capacity, fuel capacity, personnel capacity. Maximum at 5,000 or less. Base fleet is currently okay. Increases the burn level of all non-militarized civilian ships by 2. Salvaging, plus 50% resources, but not rare items such as blueprints recovered from abandoned stations of the derelicts. Battle salvage, crew lost in non-combat operations. Ship repair rate outside of combat, 25% of hull and armor damage taken, repaired after combat ends. Recovered ships start with Okay, so ships that I get, I'm gonna pick that one. And I guess I can do one of these higher ones now too. How many skill points do I have? Just, okay, I have 2. Flux dissipation per ordnance point spent on weapons. Maximum damage reduction by armor increased to 90%. I'm gonna do cargo capacity and salvaging because probably gonna do some salvaging here. Reassign skills. Oh, I don't want to do that. Shortly after dispatching the pirates, you receive a tight beam communication from the system's main inhabited world, Ancyra. The message is brief and asks you to travel there and contact Station Commander Rios as soon as possible. Let's lay in a course for Ancyra. You don't need to do this to travel, but it helps keep track of where you're going and how long it'll take to get there. After dismissing this dialogue, press E to open the intel screen to view the details of the message you just received. Select the message and click on the Show on Map button to open the map centered directly on Ancyra. Then left-click and hold on the planet and select Lay in Course from the menu that pops up. Alternatively, you can just right-click on Ancyra. You can also press Tab to open the map and locate Ancyra manually. Once you get to Ancyra, open the COM directory to contact the Station Commander Rios. Okay, so press E. There's a lot here. Intel, stabilize jump points. Stabilize the jump points. Contact Station Commander 4th. Okay. And then show on map. And then Ancyra. We want to go up. I didn't want to do that. Show on map, system, sector. Oh, it does it as soon as you let go. So you gotta click and then lay in course. Okay, and then we start piloting towards that location. So distance, Ancyra is pretty far away and it'll take a while to get there at this rate. The sustained burn ability is useful for long distance travel. Activating it will briefly stop the fleet and reduce its acceleration to a minimum, but the maximum burn level will be much higher. A sustained burn can be interrupted by other... Wait, what? The sustained burn ability is useful for long distance travel. Activating it will briefly stop the fleet and reduce its acceleration to a minimum, but the maximum burn level will be much higher. A sustained burn can be interrupted by other fleets activating an interdiction pulse. Also do shift to speed up time. Okay, so we're doing a sustained burn. Burn level. This burn level translates to 2.0 light years per day while in hyperspace. You're coming up on an asteroid belt. If you go through it at full speed, there's a chance your fleet may be knocked off course, and some of your ships might even suffer damage from asteroid impacts. A slow-moving fleet avoids this danger. Press and hold S to move slowly until you're through the asteroid belt. The danger is low, however, especially since this belt is thin and you're only going across it, so you could also get away with just going full speed. Okay, so there's the asteroid belt. Move slowly through the asteroid belt. What is the controls here? Bring fleet to stop or move more slowly. What's a burn? Does the codex say? Burn. Burn drive. Sustained burn. Switch the drives of all ships in the fleet to a mode suited for long distance travel. This fleet has to stop briefly to make the switch over. Increases the maximum burn level by 100% at the expense of a lower acceleration, especially in the direction of the fleet's movement. Also increases the range at which the fleet can be detected by 100%. The burn level increase does not apply to flat burn bonuses such as those from nav buoys or tugs. Burn drive temporarily engages a primary burn on the system travel drive of the ship, provides massive speed boost for Vic's time at the expense of also being able to use shields. Ship runs the risk of full engine flame out on any significant collision. I guess that's different. Oh, press F1 for more information. Okay. Didn't get to see that. Your fleet is getting closer to Accra, which is controlled by the Hegemony, a major militaristic faction in the sector. While the Hegemony space, a fleet is required by law to identify itself by keeping its transponder turned on. This is a view shared by most, though not all major factions. Turning on the transponder makes your fleet highly visible, and everyone seeing it will know who you are, unlike that pirate fleet you fought earlier, which had to be very close to positively identify. Keeping your transponder on is a crippling disadvantage in hostile space, but as we're getting closer to port and we'd like to dock there, it's a good idea to turn it on. Activate the transponder before getting close to Accra, both to avoid unwanted attention from patrols and to receive docking clearance. Since turning it on and off has major consequences, it requires a double tap to turn on and off, once to prime and once more to confirm. Okay, so now our transponder is on. Almost looks like we ran into the planet. Laying in a course for Accra, your fleet approaches Accra. The economy of Accra is dominated by the hegemonic logistics. The light industry complex grew up on military contracts and now possesses the scale and legitimacy to make respectable inroads into civilization commerce web of core respectable inroads into the civilization commerce web. Okay. Your fleet transmits identification codes via the transponder, and you are soon granted a docking clearance. Take a shuttle down to visit the dockside bar, trade goods or hire crew, repair, consider your military options. Open the comm directory, station commander. You connect to the local comm directory and browse the public and otherwise known listings. You transmit the comm ID and wait for the system to establish a connection. Your connection request is accepted surprisingly quickly, given that a citizen has many responsibilities. You've come. Excellent. As you're well aware recently, well, I suppose we can skip that part. Can you use your refresher on recent events? Yeah, we know the situation is less than ideal. Now where do I fit in? A team from the Galactica Academy has been running experiments on the dormant gate in the system, trying to connect it back to the domain's gate network. Promising experiments, or so they thought, until an energy pulse we expected would get a response from the gate to stabilize the jump points leading into the system, cutting us off from the rest of the sector. It's rather like how the sector is cut off from the domain, writ small. The stars have a sense of irony, do they not? Okay, so this system's cut off from the sector, and this sector's cut off from the domain network, which I guess is a larger network of star systems, or probably other sectors which are comprised of star systems. The miners of Durinyuku Station, which is also located in this system and was operating near a subsistence level, were hit the hardest. They turned to piracy, intercepting one of the last food shipments to come in, out of desperation no doubt, but there were deaths and they've put themselves well outside the law. Their leaders know that if the jump points are stabilized and the system is once again part of the sector, they can look forward to a life sentence at a penal colony at absolute best. Okay, where do I fit in? The miners turned pirates are guarding the jump points, preventing us from gathering recent readings and coming up with a way to stabilize them. We do have a security detachment that could handle their forces, but they're tied up in defending Accra. The pirates are too much for you to take on, but fortunately you don't have to. We've got an agent on Durinyuku Station who was able to gain access to recent sensor readings from the ships guarding the jump points, but they have not been able to get to a long-range comm relay to send the data to us. That's where you come in. Head to Durinyuku and retrieve the data from the agent. Why me? Why not? I'm not exactly spoiled for choice, and you've shown some ability to handle difficulties. It's not going to be a milk run, that's for sure. Relationship improved by 1, improved by 2. A little bit of water. First off, make sure to turn off your transponder once you undock. I've instructed the security detachment to give you any trouble about that. If you're lucky, the pirates may even think you're one of their own and let you approach without any trouble still. It makes sense to go dark as you get closer to make sure that they can't get too good of a reading on your fleet. You can also approach along the asteroid belt. It'll give you almost perfect cover as long as you're moving slowly. Gain ability, go dark. And if they do notice me, then you're in trouble. Activate emergency burn to get out of there. Lose them and come back around to try again. Don't e-burn unless you really need to, though. It's hard on the ships. Will cost you some more supplies to recover from. Eats up a good chunk of fuel too. Very well. Excellent. Thank you for being willing to help. Come back when you have the data. Good luck. Sneak into the mining station. Contact. Okay. Cut the comm link. Okay. So we're just gonna go ahead and leave here. We're going to turn off our transponder. Press F5 to quick save. What was it? To tab for map, but also C for character, F for fleet, I for cargo, E for intel, D for command. Okay, so show on map. Turned pirate and your fleet may be attacked otherwise. Okay, so this orbital lay in course. Pressing E again does not close the thingy though. Interesting. Okay, that's not good. Attempt to retreat from battle. The opposing fleet may pursue and force a battle or may let you go. Control the battle space. You won't be able to conduct any salvage operations. So you're standing with the opposing faction. Your ships to prevent malfunctions. Okay, they're pursuing. We want to burn somewhere far away. Order custom group of ships together at this location. Okay, so we want to avoid these guys. Are they going after my... You're running away, right, dude? Light escort. Order a single frigate to escort this target. Order a pair of frigates. Defend. Cancel assignment. Send orders. Uh, order a full retreat. All ships not already retreating will be issued a retreat order. You will not be able to deploy reinforcements or give any more orders. Your flagship can retreat from battle by reaching the top edge of the map. Any attempt to... your fleet is in full retreat. Are we in full retreat? Why am I faced that way? Oh, they're coming up on me. Don't like that. Okay, so they're already retreating. Able to end the encounter without any further pursuit after the conclusion. Okay, I guess... Are they gonna take out my little ship? I want you to go into a full retreat. No, don't defend yourself, just run. Okay, well, I can... I mean, I guess them defending themselves is not terrible. Okay, they're getting away. They're slow as hell, but they're getting away. Is that one gonna be able to get away? Without being disabled? Do I lose... do the drones cost me anything when they lose them? Okay, so they both retreated. Your forces were able to disengage from the enemy. The enemy forces are able to recover some combat readiness as they control the battle space and engagement was limited. Okay, so go dark. Turns off all non-essential systems, reducing the range at which the fleet can be detected. Okay, so emergency burn increases the maximum, reduces sensor range by increases the range at which the fleet can be detected. Well, we got through them. Your fleet approaches the mining station. Never a station which overwhelmed visitors with welcome now sports a fresh patchwork of emergency hull seal plates and greets outsiders with suspicious looks traded between miners and lightly armed Munisec militia. Your fleet goes into orbit around the station. The local port authority seems to take no issue with your explanation for why your transponder regularly can't be turned on. Open the comm directory. Speak to the agent. You contact the agent using a special comms ID and exchange passphrases to verify each other's identities. The agent then transmits a data file with recent raw sensor readings of the unstable jump points. Cut the comm link. Leave. Alright, so E. Deliver. Okay. Debris field, unidentified fleet. Alright, so we're dark. And we can just... are they pursuing us? No. Yes. Okay, switching for a second there almost got me killed. Because it does stop you for a second. Gotta turn our transponder back on so we don't run into any trouble. And then go talk to Rios. You have the data, well done. There's a brief wait as you transmit the data file. Now, while the system is running a preliminary analysis of the data, I believe you're due a reward. Gained 5,000 credits. There's Chime in the background, he looks concerned. Is there a problem? Yes, the system estimates it'll take about a cycle to analyze the data and come up with a stabilization algorithm. Naturally, by then the data would be out of date and any algorithm based on it meaningless. If we had an AI core on hand, we could analyze the data more quickly. Fortunately, there's a survey probe somewhere in this system. One left over from the initial exploration of the sector by the domain. It should have at least one AI core serving as its brain. Where is it and why hasn't it been salvaged before? To answer your second question, domain artifacts are usually protected by automated defenses that still function to this day. This probe is no exception, and the hegemony generally forbids civilian interference with domain artifacts for the sake of public safety, of course. Desperate times, however. As to where it is, my data indicates it's somewhere beyond the orbit of Pontus. Get there, then head out beyond the asteroid belt and use an active sensor burst. You should at the very least get a sensor contact with the probe. Head towards it, perform the salvage, and bring back the AI core. Pontus is a gas giant in the outer system. To see its name on the map, you might have to turn off the inhabited option in the map filter. Active sensor burst. I'll see what I can do. Okay, leave. And then, okay, so analyze the jump point, requires an AI core. Which should be sufficient. So Gamma AI core, go to Pontus, head towards the asteroid belt, and then use an active sensor burst. Approach the probe and salvage it to recover the Gamma core. You have to overcome some automated defenses first. Oh, okay, so that's only showing inhabited. But Pontus. So if I turn that off, I can see Pontus there. So lane course. And we go speeding off towards Pontus. We actually have a little... Oh, I'm actually blocking the little map here. Move myself over. I have a little map there that shows what we're looking at and what's around us. Little square there you can see what our viewport is taking a look at. The fleet approaches Pontus. You have full survey data of the planet. We don't need to be in Pontus, though we do need to be a little bit past the asteroid belt. Okay. And we want to do a sensor, active sensor, turn off engines to reduce interference and link all sensors in the fleet into a single network. Increase the sensor range by 3,000 units and increases the range at which the fleet can be detected by 5,000 units. The fleet is only able to move slowly while this ability is active. Okay. Unidentified sensor contact. Okay, so immediately as I let go, Discovered domain error probe, an example of one of the countless thousands of robot probe ships sent into the galaxy by the domain to find new resources to exploit, plans to colonize, and explore the unknown. Okay, so we're laying in a course for it. Your fleet approaches a domain error probe left from the initial domain expansion of this sector. Pitted by small impacts, the probe's hull displays iridescence typical of fearsome radiation scarring. Though the probe's manufacturer could well date to 1,000 cycles ago, some systems are nominally active. Explore. As your fleet moves in closer, several energy signatures are detected coming online inside the probe's hold. Engage the automated defenses. Continue. We only want to deploy that one. Deploy. And then... Oh, we can actually play and pause from there as well. Okay, multiple sensor contacts. Turn on the shields. Ooh, okay, they are giving me some trouble. High explosive. Oh, I went into overload. Oh, my cannons got disabled. They are quickly reducing my hull to nothing. And he's trying to stay in my blind spot. I think I only have forward-facing shields. Okay, that was sketchy. They almost killed me there. Preliminary reports indicate approximately 10 crew and no Marines were lost during the last engagement. Your forces were able to gain a complete victory. So that's going to take a little bit to repair, I expect. Oh, do we have too much? Can we... Oh, confirm and continue. As your fleet finishes mopping up the automated defenses, a weak hyperwave ping is detected coming from the probe. It's unclear if this is a random noise from a dying subsystem or some kind of encrypted signal. Your fleet finishes its approach to the domain error probe without further incident. You receive preliminary assessment of a potential salvage operation from the exploration crews. Yeah, begin salvage operation. And 1 AI core. Warning, you're taking more salvage than your fleet has capacity to carry. This will result in greatly increased daily supply consumption and reduced travel speeds. Recommend that you either take less salvage or head to a nearby station to solve some excess. Okay, I don't want to get rid of all my fuel. How do I get rid of... Oh, there we go. Press shift. Alright. Fuel capacity... Where's my cargo? Okay, so I can take a little bit more. Oh, no, that's over my fuel capacity. That's what it's complaining about. Okay, so I want to get rid of some of that fuel. And then confirm and continue. Holding in debris field. Cargo pods. Sector map. I think I want the fleet tab. And then suspend repairs. Hull integrity 13, 45. Finishing all repairs will take approximately 8.67 days. And then we have increased, supplies while we're doing that. So let's head back to Increa lane course, and we want to not emergency burn. We want to do a sustained burn. Oh, don't. Okay, I just completely went through that asteroid field without slowing down. Luckily, I don't think it did anything. Oh, I think my internet's deciding to give out. Yeah. So I think I'll end it here. Oh, no. After I dock. Go dock. Alright, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Do I just save? Alrighty. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.